Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 8, Vis Pacem Bellum. I believe it's how it's pronounced, so don't, quote me on that. So this video is part of a series of videos where I review episodes of Star Trek Discovery, so I have to start with a spoiler warning for Discovery up to Season 1, Episode 8. If you haven't seen up to this episode, why are you watching this video? Go watch the episode first. So anyway, my computer was broken, pretty much. It was being repaired over the weekend. I just got it back sort of late in the evening, so I didn't really have time to sort of gestate over this episode like I tend to. So I just got done watching it, so my thoughts are a bit raw, and so it's going to be a really quick video, and I'm sort of just going to spew off the top of my head. I didn't have any notes or written script or anything like I usually do. Just to give you a warning. So, last week, I watched this the after show for Discovery called After Trek, which is kind of cheesy, but it's pretty interesting. It's becoming the new trend, having after shows. And when I watched it last week, they had the actor who played Stamets on, and he was hyping up this episode like hell. He's like, get your tissues ready, you're gonna cry. It's one of the most emotional episodes. This is the episode. It's gonna be amazing. It's what's gonna make the show. This is the best thing. I can't wait for it. I kind of wish he didn't do that because I had such unrealistic expectations, or maybe they were realistic, I don't know, but they certainly weren't met. Maybe I would have appreciated this episode more if I didn't have such high expectations, because I kept waiting. Okay, this is the moment it's going to be awesome. This is the moment it's going to be tear-jerking. And I kept waiting for that moment to happen, and it never did. And it just came out as another sort of very stereotypically bland Star Trek type episode. Now, it was very Star Trek, I will give it that, but not necessarily in a good way. It was Star Trek in the sort of bland, we go to the planet and there's this alien and he's making these aliens are making our main characters act weird and they're acting all funny, and then there's a conflict between them because it makes them all mad, blah 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 blah. Very far from evoking any emotions in me other than boredom, I should say. I mean, and the Saru stuff, the stuff on the planet, like, I thought that was going to be the main point of the episode, but it seemed like the episode was more focused on the Klingon stuff, which was also boring. And so the Saru stuff on the planet seemed to go by very quick. It was very simple. I was expecting way more to it than that. I was expecting some mind-blowing story. Again, maybe I shouldn't watch that track after show because it gave me these. Maybe I would have appreciated this episode more if it wasn't for these expectations I had that this episode would be amazing, which it was not. I mean, the stuff with Saru, I don't know. It didn't really get it at first. I mean, they kind of explained it later that they made him not experience fear, so he had this different sort of perspective. But the whole thing about him like crushing the communicators and saying let's stay on the planet and blah blah blah. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't make sense for the character. It just wasn't particularly interesting. I'll put it that way. But I did kind of the one sort of good thing about this episode is I did like the sort of chase scene, like the scenes towards the end where Lieutenant Tyler was trying to distract Saru while Burnham went off and did the thing, and then he figured it out, so he went running, and they teased that the Kelpians could run really fast, and we got to see it. That was cool. Did enjoy that, and it was sort of the ticking clock where the two of them would clash and she could see him running on the ridge. I thought that was a really nice touch, so they knew they had a very short amount of time to get everything ready, and the two of them fought. But then the whole her like talking Saru and trying to like bond with him and be like, but blah 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 blah, please listen. He seemed a bit wishy-washy. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I liked the build up to it, the suspense, and the fight I think was workably good. entertaining. So that was that, and then we get the Klingon storyline, which I'm starting to agree with this main consensus. Most people seem to not like the Klingon storyline, and I never really had that big of an issue with it, but now I'm starting to get on board with that same feeling. I didn't really get what was happening here. With the I don't have their names in front of me, but the Klingon woman, whoever, did Admiral Cornwell actually die? They were a bit vague on the after show. I think they were saying that she died, but maybe they just wouldn't want to give away, because that seemed really bland if she's dead. And why would that Klingon woman kill her? I guess he would kill her to not get caught by Cole or whatever, the House Core, or whoever, that guy. So I suppose, but her original plan was to defect to the Federation. Was it really? Because the whole time she was saying that, I was like, I bet you this is part of the plan to reunite with Lieutenant Tyler, who's actually Klingon spy. He's actually Vork, and it's part of the plan is she gets the Federation to meet up with him or whatever. And I was really expecting, maybe that's why my expectations are high, expecting it to be revealed in this episode, because of the previous one, they kept drilling on the Lieutenant Tyler being in the prison. I'm like, oh, they're going to reveal that he's the Klingon spy. But it is too early, and the whole time I was thinking, but it's too early for that. But I just got the vibe from this episode that would be, so maybe I was disappointed that they didn't, but I understand that it's too early for that and they need to drag this out longer. That's understandable. I'm not holding out against the episode, but it was boring. Yeah, and I don't get Admiral Cornwell. I just watch all these theories about her being this original series guest star who appeared in this episode, Dagger of the Mind, who I don't remember at all because I hate that episode. But the whole theory is that Admiral Cornwell is that same character because that character had her sort of mind erased and she refused to talk about her past. So the theory is Cornwell's mind's going to get fucked up. And maybe that's going to happen. Maybe she somehow survives this. But it seems kind of bland. And plus, the way that the Klingon woman, whoever she is, saw all of her friends dead, and then she went to Core and was like, "Oh, I'm going to pledge myself to you." But he saw through it. What the heck? I just don't get the point of it. It just seems like shit happening, and it's just boring. I agree with everyone else on this Klingon storyline. It's a wash. They either have to go somewhere with it or just stop doing it. God, I just don't know. But this has nothing to do with this episode, but I want to talk about this theory that I just saw, because I talked last week about how there are all these theories in the Mirror Universe one, which is not very good, I'll put it that way, try to be polite, and all these other theories that are not very good. But I heard about this other one that was actually pretty damn good. I didn't even think about it. There's a Deep Space Nine episode called Blood Oath, where you have these 3 Klingons who were in the original series, and they team up with Dax, and they go on this mission to kill the albino, who apparently he killed each of their sons because he hated them. One of the Klingons was Core, who we know that this Klingon from Discovery, Cole, is from House Core. Getting tongue-tied. Anyway, we know there's that connection here. So the theory is, because the main villain in that Deep Space Nine episode was the albino, that character is actually Vork. And in Deep Space Nine episode, he's really old, just like Core and the other Klingons are really old, so that would place them around the same age group. And plus, the Vork is very young in Discovery, so yeah. So that's a cool theory. I didn't even consider it. I might have to go back and watch Blood Oath. I think that would be great if they actually did match it up that way. Plus, they're sort of banking him to be a them at odds. Of course, we still haven't heard since Vork since the 3rd episode, but that's because he's Lieutenant Tyler. Talking about theories. I don't know. I would be disappointed at this point if it didn't turn out to be Vork who's Lieutenant Tyler. And I think it could be so because in this episode you get more of Tyler reminiscing with Burnham about his, let's go to the Lake Tahoe or whatever lake he said, and blah blah blah. There's a theory that he's sort of like a Manchurian candidate type thing, where he doesn't even know that he's a Klingon. So he had sort of his memories erased, and he thinks he is Lieutenant Tyler, but he really isn't. That would be cool. I don't know. I would like it. Anyway. This episode is just not remarkable, especially the people saying it's going to make you cry. It's very far from it, to be perfectly honest. It's just kind of, Saru, and we're supposed to cry about Saru and having the feelings about not wanting to leave the planet, because I frankly didn't give a shit. But anyway, next week, again, the After Track show, they're talking about next week's episode has one of the writers specifically referred it to as the balance of terror of Discovery. They're like this, and people are like, whoa, and he was saying you're going to be blown away by this episode. And again, it's probably not a good thing to be hyping me up so much, because now you're getting my expectations. Of course, since I was disappointed so much in this episode, I'll sort of learn my lesson and not have my expectations too high, but still, they're going to be a bit high, because if you call it the balance of terror of Discovery. So hopefully they don't fuck it up again. Hopefully it actually pays off. And, again, I'm still not one of those haters. Please don't, if you're just watching this video in isolation, you didn't see in my previous videos, you might say, you're one of those haters who hates Discovery and thinks it's not Star Trek. It's not true. Overall, I'm liking Discovery, but as I said, every Star Trek show has a very poor first season. It takes them a while to find themselves. That's all there is to it. I'm not one of those people who say it's not Star Trek. I think it's very much Star Trek. But I still can't get over the way the Klingons look. I'm sorry. I don't think I'll ever be able to get over it. At least give them hair. Change them, change the appearance fine. I heard this one condescending video where this guy is like, they never changed a Klingon appearance before. Why are you getting angry at that? It's not that they changed it, it's that it looks dumb. They look like monsters. Change it all you like, but keep the fucking hair and keep some semblance of what. It's hard for me to just connect that these are Klingons because of that. And here's the other huge difference. I'm going off on a tangent, it has nothing to do with the episode, I know. But anyway, here's the other huge difference from the change from the original series to the motion picture, where it was a massive change, I'll grant you that. But here's the thing. In the original series, the Klingons only appeared in a few episodes. And even though they were built as the main enemy of the original series, there just wasn't as much mythology and lore. Since then, you got the movies, you got Next Generation, which really expanded the lore. Deep Space Nine expanded the lore even more. It got all into the Klingon backstory and backgrounds. Voyager had a Klingon officer and explored the Klingon background through her. So it's ingrained because of all this way more. That look is of the Klingons and the culture and the way they behave is ingrained because, in the original series, the Klingons, frankly, you gotta be honest here, they were all over the place. They were just like, I'm hauled away as garbage. And in one episode and another episode, they're totally different. And, my dear Captain Kirk, in the next episode is you die with honor. There was no consistency in the original series because they weren't intending to build it as they weren't very good at lore building and character building and race building, whatever you want to call it. In the original series, they got down to business, and Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, and the movies, all of them, they really encountered, and that look was ingrained in that, and to just totally change it and have them look like weird monsters with no hair, I'm sorry, it does not work, and I don't think I'm ever going to get out of it, and please don't condescend about, the way they changed the past. I know they changed the past, but it's totally different. You can't say it's the same thing. Anyway, total tangent there. Let's end this video now, and my rating for this episode, which I'm not going to try to pronounce again, out of 10 is a 5 average. Okay, I'll give it a 5. Because it didn't suck. As I said, there were good things about it, like the sort of chase race type thing. And, some of the character interactions with Saru were interesting, but it's kind of bland. Nothing really happened. I mean, wasn't that maybe my expectations? I don't know, but it just seemed kind of boring. So 5. Anyway, that's it for my review for Star Trek Discovery Episode 8. Be sure to check back here next week as I cover the mid-season finale, and also be sure to check out my channel as I do many other videos and other shows like Star Trek, Game of Thrones, The Expanse, Mr. Robot, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that, and thanks a lot for watching.